Hi everyone, my name is Mustafa Sheikh and I'm a photographer based in Dubai. Lately, I have been receiving some messages on my Instagram from some of my friends and followers that how can they learn photography by themselves? How can they teach themselves this skill during this lockdown time and utilize this time wisely and train themselves to be able to take at least averagely or good photographs without taking any of those expensive online courses and workshops and all those things. So I decided to come on YouTube and share with you guys the step-by-step process on how you can actually train yourself to be able to take good photographs, to be able to see good frames and good light, and without wasting any money on any of those online courses and these kind of things. I'm not saying that these online courses are not efficient or not useful, but let's be real about photography. It's like any other skill. You need to invest that time, you need to invest that practice, you need to have a certain mindset, and just by watching a 12-hour video content, you will not be able to get any skill. So it's more important to understand the mindset, to prepare yourself for it, and to understand how to train your eyes rather than how to use your camera, and to be able to see good light and to be able to capture those beautiful photographs with whichever camera you have. So let's start with the most important thing. You have to have a positive mindset. First, you have to start believing that you can do it. You don't have to worry that, oh, you saw some really big photographer with amazing photographs and you're wondering, oh, how am I gonna ever achieve that? You can take all sorts of photographs. So firstly, make this thing clear in your mind before we start that with practice, you will be able to reach to that level. The first step I would recommend anyone to start with is to start looking at really good work. You have to start looking at master photographers' work on the internet in different websites. There are so many portals. I am making a blog post separately that will just be featuring some of the master photography work from all over the world. So do check out that blog as well. It's in the description. It's free. Just have a look at some of the best master photographers from around the world. This is the first step in training yourself and training your eyes in how to be able to take good photographs, how to train your eye. First step, start looking at really good work. And when I say good work, I don't mean for you to go on Instagram and start looking at good work. Instagram is more of a blogging platform. It's not really a photography centric platform. You have to start looking at other platforms which is full of professional photographers, so you see the right kind of work to be able to train your eye for the right kind of work. So do check out in the description the link where I have listed a lot of websites where you can start looking at good photography work. The next step I would highly recommend for you to start with black and white photography. Now I know it does sound a little bit boring to do black and white photographs, but hold up and let me explain why is it essential that you start your photography training with black and white photography. When you are looking at any photograph in black and white, you're looking at the composition, the lighting, and the angles, right? So these are very important points when you are taking any good photograph. So during black and white photography, you can see all the flaws. If there's bad composition or angle or light, it cannot be hidden behind any color because you're shooting everything in black and white. This gives you a best chance to train yourself to be able to take better photos, to be able to see good light, to be able to make good composition. So start with black and white and try to get the best black and white shots that you can, because then you will already be good with composition and lighting, and then when you add color to your photographs, when you start shooting in color, they will be excellent. So start with black and white, very important, and I cannot highly emphasize on how important it is. You start with black and white photography. Just be patient with the process and it's going to work out amazing. The next step, and this is actually one of the questions that I get a lot, is which camera do I start with? Which camera should I buy? Or which is the best camera for a beginner, and so on. Now, this is a huge debate and I can make a whole separate video about this, but When you're starting into photography, the last thing you should focus on is which camera should I buy. Now, I know it does sound a little bit strange because photography camera, it's like, how do you do photography with a bad camera? But here's the thing. A lot of times when you're starting photography, you get really caught up with the gear. It's like an addiction. Oh, should I buy the next best lens? Should I buy the next best camera? And all those things. If you're doing all of that, let me be honest, you are not taking photographs. You are more like a collector of fancy gear. So focus on good photographs with whichever camera you have available or whichever is the next one that you can buy. If you can afford a pocket camera, just go start with a pocket camera. If you have an iPhone or Android with decent camera in your phone, start with what you have. I always have talked about this thing. I've written a whole blog about this thing, that do not limit yourself, do not stop yourself for the time that, when I'll get the new camera, I'll start photography. Start with what you have. You have to practice, you have to get better and better with the gear that you have. If you have a camera, then stick with one lens. This is another suggestion I would really like to give. Stick with one lens and see what all it can do, right? Really push the limits with what you have. Do not get caught up in the gear addiction. So the next step is that once you have this camera, iPhone, or whichever thing you're using, take it with you everywhere. If you have a pocket camera or if you're using your phone as your camera, you can just carry it almost anywhere. So take it with you to work or to your school or wherever, whatever you do. Carry your camera with you everywhere. It's like your best friend. The more time you spend with your camera, the more photographs you take, the more you practice, the faster you will learn, the better you will become. Any teacher you will go with, they will teach you the basics. They will tell you the direction. But to follow that direction, to practice in that direction, that's your job. So whichever camera you have, even if it's a phone, take it with you everywhere and try to take as many pictures as you can. Next thing I would like to talk about is that forget about post-processing. Forget about editing for now. When you're starting into photography, do not worry about editing that, I'll take a bad photo and I'll edit it and make it look good. Focus on taking good photographs. In camera, you have to have a good photograph. If you have a good photograph in camera, then you can edit it good. A bad photograph can never look good after editing. So focus on taking good frames first, then get into editing, right? So these are just a few steps, and two of the most important out of all these steps are that you have to look at a lot of good work on the internet of master photographers. And second, very important, do not wait for the best camera. Do not wait for the next one. The one you have is the best you can have right now. Start with it and get on with it. I hope this video was useful to you, and I hope that after practicing these steps, you'll be able to take good photographs and be able to see good light and train your eye. If you have any more questions about photography, about how to start and so on, just write in the comment. I reply to all the comments on my YouTube video. Just write me on Instagram. I immediately reply to DMs. Any messages you send me on Instagram, you'll get a reply right away. So just write to me over there or write to me here in the comments. Ask me any questions you have. Do not get scammed by a lot of expensive training videos and stuff like that. Just everything is practice. You have to practice a lot, right? And just start the journey. Just get onto it. Don't worry about perfection. Just practice a lot. And any questions, just ask away. Ask in the comments, ask in my Instagram, email me, anything. Have a nice day, and please do check my Instagram. The link is in the description, and all other links that can be useful for you for your photography are also here in the description. Thank you, and bye-bye.